Hello and welcome back to Touch Crypto for another Bcoq Inu video. And guys, exactly what I said in my last video, that if we do fall back, then we should be expecting a much further continuation down to at least around about in my area of interest, which would be where we originally broken up from to make the big parabolic move, which would be right back down here in this zone. And I did also say, if you do fall back into this area, do not fear, do not panic sell or anything, because that's a perfect area for all of us to actually reaccumulate some more of our Bcoq Inu for even a bigger of a move to the upside. Why? Because if we squeeze in the charts and zoom out a little, this is our major support area, and that's our major resistance. Ever since, we've only just been going back down to retest this support, and we've been kind of tested it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, and then finally we broke into the downside. Normally, if we retest any levels more than 2-3 times, it is an indication that we are going to eventually break through it, whether it is up or in this case to the downside. Because it's to the downside, that's why I reckon this area here is amazing for accumulating more of your Bcoq Inu, because once we do make that parabolic move back up to the top, I don't think it'll be as parabolic, but it'll definitely be like staircasing once we do hit above the first red line, which is now resistance. If we hit this one first, followed by the second resistance, then we should be off to the races. And once that happens, what sort of percentage are we looking at for this move? So roughly around a bit here to there, it would give us a nice juicy 345% move to the upside. And yes, that would be an amazing move, of course, but for the minute we're going to have to sit through this turbulence, because much like anything in crypto, we are going to see eventually a lot of coins coming back down for a major retest before we push our way back up to the upside. So I hope this makes sense for you all. From a full hourly chart, I will show you the daily chart. It actually looks more gruesome on a daily chart. Alright, so as we can see, yes guys, so it looks like we could possibly go even much further down. How much further down? Quite literally retesting back down into the zone and right over here, and that'll be an additional 93% move to the downside if we do come back down into this area. I wouldn't be too fearful if I was you all, because we made that crazy move to the upside. Had we held around a bit here before we push our way back up, that will mean Bcoq would be such a bullish coin. However, because it's a meme coin and we are on the cusp of the bull season, and we haven't seen much marketing coming in for Bcoq Inu or onto the major exchanges, hence why we do see a fairly slow, almost like a slow death back to the downside. But this should be considered like Black Friday, like Christmas, because whenever we dip down, we buy even more and to accumulate the hell out of this coin. So that is always my strategies when it comes down to super small and more riskier play, because if you got enough bags, you can just keep hold of them and just wait until we blast away to the top. If you entered all the way up here or somewhat around about there, it's definitely worth just accumulating just a little bit more. Even on a daily, it does look extremely more bearish, but if we drop down to the hourly, we can see that. Okay, so on the hourly, it's slightly different. It shows that we have been most definitely continuing back down to the downside. However, if I see a break up from here, that would be a break of structure, something like this. And if it pulls back healthily like that, and then continue to the upside, that would be a bullish case scenario. Yes, it doesn't look like we're gonna go flat down, pump like so. We've been staircasing from here. It's a sign that this coin is being bought up, because whenever we came back down, we've been bought up here, came back down, bought up there, we didn't quite hold, and then we continued to go much further to the downside. So yes, that is my immediate term technical analysis. on Bcoq Inu, we just need to see, whether we do make this move at any time soon. We might even do something like this for now, because we've broken up a little bit. We came back down to retest here. If we don't fall below there, then it looks like we could be at least going sideways here. That would give me, a bit more confidence within Bcoq Inu. And then eventually, once we do see that break to the upside from here much further up, then that would be, an additional case for accumulation phase. Add more bags there, because once we go up, I don't think we'll come back into this area anytime soon. So we just need to, at least for now, be patient, because it still might be a bumpy ride. This area is still very important of support. If we fall much further below there, then brace it for impact on the bearish note. Otherwise, if you do hold this zone over here, let me extend that a little. If you hold this zone over here, and then we see a bounce to the upside, that would be, maybe a much more bullish case, but maybe add a little bit more to your bag in order for us to see a much more push to the upside. I would like to tell you to not worry, because whenever we do break up from a position and that used to be a former resistance, inevitably it would always become a support in the future. So I'm just trying to tell you to not to worry at all, because eventually we are going to retest the zone up here. But we were all, of course, hoping for a much higher and continuation move to the upside, because this move here just shows that a lot of, monies were coming into Bcoq Inu and popularity was getting there. However, instead we saw a massive tumbling down back into that what used to be support. So it used to be resistance, now support. And exactly what we said in our last video, that if we do break down below this support area there, we should be expecting a much lower low. And we've all said that if we do come back down here, this would be a perfect area for reaccumulation and for retest for that support area, or the support here. And we should be hopefully pushing much further to the upside. But before that happens, we just need to pay attention what's going on to the charts, because as we can see, I just drew that trend line right over here. It looks like we could see some life coming back into Bcoq Inu, only until we do break above this area here and do something like this. That could be a bullish case scenario for Bcoq Inu. However, I wouldn't be surprised if we were to go a little bit sideways here for a short while before we ultimately make that move to the upside, something like this. And once that happens, guys, then you should be stocking up more of Bcoq Inu, and we should be expecting a much bigger move to the upside. Hopefully, within maybe a couple of weeks, we should be retesting back to its all-time highs around about there. If that was to happen, let's say we measure from the weeks, right from the top right there, from here to there, that will give us approximately 391% move to the upside. Not too shabby, if you ask me. And once we do explode from here, we should expect to see a much higher high. How high are we going to expect? Well, guys, you need to stick around for my next video. So if you haven't done so already, why don't you just hit the subscribe button right over here for me, because that way you'll be updated for my next Bcoq Inu video. Until then, I'll see you all in another one.